Joining me to discuss this now, we have Segun Koshebani, he's the Chief Bitcoin Manager at Botany Cash. We also have Oye Shobowale Benson, as a sovereign blockchain architect, both joining me via Zoom. Great to have you both.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've had you before, and definitely we discussed this fragmentation earlier. So there is currently a white paper circulating online, accompanied by a presidential letter addressing the nation on the future of digital assets. In our previous conversations on this program, you guys identified regulatory fragmentation as the biggest structural challenge in Nigeria's virtual asset space. How does this proposed VARA framework respond to that concern, and does it truly solve fragmentation? I'll start with you, Segun.
Thank you very much, Ladi. In his wisdom, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu created the VARA based off the NTAA 2025 by the former FIRS, now NRS. And VARA, the VARA model, VARA narrative, so to speak, delivers solely to non-security virtual assets. Before now, it's more like we've been operating in small silos, right? The regulators have been doing fantastic work. SEC, headed by Dr. Timi Agama, NFIU taking charge of the reporting. But and the new NRS, former FIRS, have really been out of the picture. And central bank haven't really gotten clarity. So virtual asset transaction happen in the country, no taxation for NRS. The president wants to take the economy of Nigeria to a $1 trillion mark. We need to generate revenue. And that's why the NRS, and central bank came together and say, you know what? The stakeholders have been clamoring for unification, like we said the last time. So why don't we find a way to unify everyone? Allow them play for real. Then we tax what we can see. Because the central bank, somehow, some way, directly or indirectly, through their licensed traditional finance organizations, aka the banks, are the ones who process the transactions, for the virtual asset companies. This is hidden in plain sight.
Right.
But in the wisdom of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he wants all of this to come to the open. And the only way that can be done is all of those hidden market activities must be brought together. Central bank must see those transactions. NRS must see those transactions to be able to take their own course, reasonably. NFIU must be able to monitor, and we, the market participants, must comply, of course, with the necessary VASP rules. If you are with SEC or and it qualify as securities or non-security virtual assets. So pretty much it's a unification model. The Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, led by, I think, from what you said, the circulating white paper has a name there, Dr. Simeon. It's a wisdom project, if you look at it, an encompassing project. It's more like, hey, family, come together. We shouldn't work separately any longer. Let's come together. Let's help the nation. You take your cut, we take our cut, we protect you. So it's a protecting document. It's a document that unifies a troubling family to become one for a better future forward. It's a very, very forthright.
All right, definitely, Segun, a huge family, as you said, and, going by some of the data, total transactions between July 2024 and June 2025, $92.1 billion. That's virtual assets right there. Annual growth, 52% increase in centralized exchange volume, total transactions, power, it's supposed to power Nigeria's push towards a $1 trillion economy. That's from, the document there. So, Oye, let me come to you now. What is the real significance of VARA for Nigeria's, digital asset ecosystem? Seems to be doing pretty well without it.
Thank you for having me again. The real significance of VARA, in my point of view, is structural cohesion. Because when you look at digital assets, they cut across various sectors. You have banking, taxation, securities, innovation, and there's also national security issues when you talk about digital currencies. So what VARA does, it recognizes that one parastatal cannot handle all these issues. So it breaks it down and lets people know, like I said earlier, SEC, securities, CBN, monetary, NRS, taxation. So it defines all of this and it brings them together under one umbrella. So it doesn't override the ISA 2025. It doesn't override any other policy. But what it does, it brings them together under one cohesive umbrella. And what this does is coordination and not duplication. And this distinction is very critical for the market structure and market confidence and participation in the market. So I think the real significance of VARA is the structural cohesion. Thank you.
All right. So when we spoke last, Oye, you did raise concern about digital financial sovereignty and control of transaction rails. How does VARA, how does it help, with this issue?
So in the modern economy now, sovereignty is about visibility, it's about control and alignment. And when you have fragmented oversight, it weakens your sovereign posture. So, and it creates blind spots, so gray areas, like I said earlier. So with what VARA has done with this coordination is strengthens oversight and it aligns with the monetary authorities. It aligns with the revenue authorities, security institutions within a unified framework. And this improves visibility. And once visibility is improved, you can monitor everything. You can monitor capital flows. You can monitor illicit financing of terrorism. So it strengthens, in my point of view, it strengthens sovereignty through its visibility.
All right. So, Shago, the president recently stated that the administration does not, initially intend to introduce new legislation, but rather strengthen, existing frameworks. How does that position, affect calls for a dedicated, crypto market structure bill, similar to what is being debated in the U.S. Congress?
Thank you very much, Ladi. Very smart question. And I'll be very fair without jargons. There is a lot right now happening at the National Assembly. As you know, I'm consulting for the Office of the Chairman of the Ad Hoc Committee on Economic, Regulatory, and Security Implications of Cryptocurrency and POS in Nigeria, headed by the well-respected Honorable Bamishile. Electoral Act is being treated right now. And the budget issue will also be treated. We have been the one advocating for a market structure bill, right? But we understand that we would need the thorough attention, complete attention of the entire industry, of the legislators, and not just them, the judiciary, and even the executive. So we do not want any type of confusion or distraction. And the president, again, in his wisdom, thought about it to say, you know what, initially, we are not intending to introduce new legislation. Let's empower the regulators to even do better on their mandate. So I think aligning with the renewed hope agenda of the president is basically saying, let's see how we can support the players first. We know what the players want, but we do not completely understand this space, right? Let everybody come in. We don't need to let anyone be out there. While we are working on this thing, right, the need for new legislation may arise. And of course, there is separation of power, executive, judiciary, and legislators. They know when to come in. When it's right, the committee of the cryptocurrency will definitely play its role. Right now, a lot of research is being done, and I know that there's a lot of information from local entities and foreign partners. So the president did not say that there will not be any new legislation. What he's saying is, I want everybody to enjoy this space, be fair, right? So VARA, take care of non-security virtual assets, while Timi Agama headed SEC concerned themselves with security-based virtual assets. Under this VARA model, everybody will come together, we will work on it, and we will identify where the lapses are and what the needs are. Then we will all, be giving our feedback to the National Assembly. When it's time, legislation will naturally come in. The legislators, I'm very sure, are working in coordinate with the VARA and, of course, with the SEC. So all is well. I think it's just a perfect timing.
All right. So, Oye, talk to me now. What does success look like, with VARA, and aligning with all the, regulators we have right now?
Success will be measured by clarity. In due time, the VARA is going to be implemented. Once it's implemented, then we could see the feedback, because we're going to have detailed feedback from the VARA framework. So success looks like the executive aligning with the legislative, what we see now. So the ad hoc committee, we mentioned fragmentation, we mentioned misalignment of roles, and the VARA responded by showing all of this and putting it in place. So as time goes on and the VARA is implemented, we'll see success. I believe success, because the framework is already successful. I think it's a very nice framework. So as time goes on, we'll see in implementation, we'll see the success of VARA. Thank you.
All right, definitely still a developing story at this point. We'll keep tracking. Every government is trying to figure out regulating, this industry. Thank you so much. Segun Koshemani is Chief Bitcoin Manager, Botme Cash, and Oye Shobowale Benson, Sovereign Blockchain Architect. Thank you both for coming on today.